Hello and welcome to Clash for Charity, our very special arena prepared just for this event. We have left the usual Broadside arena, we are outside, we are in a very special stadium for this. We've gone all out. I am the CLOUT Missioner, Captain Tyrion Guidel, and we are kicking things off with an absolute banger of a match. We have Team Druid, Mary and Glyx teaming up to take on 7 Feet of Fury, Jenneth Astorio, and Vattlestar Valactica. Mary, of course, coming into this off the back of a very strong performance in the Tornado Tag match last week on Broadside. The ring general, Mary, really carrying her team through in that, where she teamed up with Valor and Anastasia. This teaming, though, is going to be quite the interesting one, with Mary and Glyx set to face off later tonight for the Sold CLOUT Championship that Glyx currently holds. Will these two be able to coexist in this match, knowing what is coming for them later on tonight?
And her partner from Chroma City, the prestigious Internet Champion, the Superstar.
And here she is making her way down to the ring. Glyx has had a little bit of an easy time of it over the last couple of weeks, with most of the side of the division focused on the $1 million championship. Ever since Glyx claimed that championship from Mackayla Lane, she has yet to have to defend it. Will her bout against Mary later tonight galvanize her reign? Or is Mary going to claim her first title here in AIW? Of course, this assumes that they both survive to make it to that.
From parts unknown,
Jenneth Astorio, who has been showing quite the violent streak of late. Jenneth had a rough start, let's say, here in AIW, going on a 3 to 4 match losing streak. And this seems to have made her snap somewhat. She has been showing increasingly vicious tendencies, beating down her opponents prior to or right at the start of the bell in both of her matches in the $1 million championship, where she has been putting on the impressive showing. But here, she is going to have to learn to work with someone else. Is she going to see a partner as slowing her down, or is this going to be the extra edge that Jenneth has been needing? And of course, Jenneth's approach of being straightforward and running directly through her opponents does play well with her partner in this match.
from Valhalla, the Tank.
One half of Team Tank main, Vattlestar Valactica, coming off of a win over Mary herself. Val has had quite the impressive showing up until this point in AIW. Has had the rivalry / friendship building with Mary up until this point. Once again, they find themselves on opposite sides of the ring. Last time they met, they seemed to reach a mutual understanding, with Mary congratulating Vattlestar on their victory in the $1 million tournament. It'll be interesting to see how that dynamic plays into this match. Oh, and yes, I suppose I should have mentioned that this is also a tornado tag match. There will be no tagging in or out. 2-on-2, all competitors legal at both times. As we've just learned, this has been a match type which seems to play very well into Mary's skill set. That very much traffic control, ring general mentality that she seems to have. Mary has proven herself to be quite the tactician. Very even matchup thus far, back and forth with both of these two teams. Glyx sending Mary down, but Jenneth waiting right there for some retaliation. Glyx able to get that kick to the face of Jenneth. Meanwhile, Val and Mary going at it straight in the middle of the ring. The power of Mary able to lift Jenneth off the mat into that suplex. That was a very impressive showing by our Druid Princess. Vattlestar, though, to Jenneth's rescue. What does Jenneth have in mind for Glyx here? Oh my god, just powering Glyx over there. Mary going for the pin, perhaps taking advantage of while Jenneth was distracted with Glyx tied up, but Jenneth saw that just in time and was able to break the pinfall. Overhead suplex there by Jenneth. Jenneth and Mary standing tall. This match thus far really seems to have devolved into two separate one-on-one matches, with Mary and Vattlestar going at it while Glyx and Jenneth face down, but now Mary teaming up with her Druid compatriot to put that absolute shoeing into Jenneth's shoulder there. Val, meanwhile, coming back in, having recovered on the outside, eyes locked on Mary, big clothesline. Glyx trying to tie Jenneth into some sort of a submission predicament going on here. So Vattlestar watches on. Team Druid very much in control right now. That kick to the spine of Vattlestar Valactica there by Mary, who rolling outside of the ring. What does she have in mind? Big drop, swinging chops there towards Val coming around from the outside, as Glyx seems to be going up top on a stunned Jenneth in the middle of the ring. Team Druid dividing and conquering seeming to be the strategy that they've taken. And there is that off the turnbuckle Superman punch that we've seen Glyx use to such great effect before. Drop kick by Mary Val on the outside. Glyx's speed there allowing her to get the better of Jenneth in that strike exchange. Glyx going for the pin, but Val able to make it into the ring just in time to break it up. Val saving this match for her team. Oh, and Mary locking Val into a sharpshooter. Jenneth, though, able to get that broken up, saving Val. Jenneth now seemingly turning her attention to Mary as Glyx is recovering on the outside of the ropes, and there has her locked around, and Mary up and smashing down, that shock reverberating through the knees of Mary. Switching around opponents now, Glyx once again going for that limb manipulation, this time on Vattlestar, just wrenching the wrist. Meanwhile, Jenneth sending Mary, I'd say up top, but on her own shoulders, going for the pin. Glyx able to realize what's going on just in time, turns around, breaks up the pinfall. Anytime Jenneth hoists you up like that, it's a terrifying experience, one has to assume, because jumping off of the turnbuckle is shorter than being hoisted up onto Jenneth's shoulders. Stunned on the outside, Glyx going for that pin on the inside of the ring. Val's down, Jenneth stunned on the outside, Glyx gets the pinfall victory. Team Druid have the win.
Here are your winners.
A very impressive showing there by Glyx and Mary. The two of them seemingly working very well together. with Jenneth and Val more working as a separate set of units, didn't really come together at any point during that match, which seemed to be their ultimate downfall. Mary very much proving herself to be adaptable and able to work with just about anybody. How is that going to play out though later on tonight when these two meet each other face to face, one-on-one for that sold CLOUT championship that is currently held by Glyx? With that though, we have gotten off to a phenomenal start here at Clash for Charity. We will be right back with a last man standing match. It is the Battle of the Steves. Steve Sparks will face off with Stephenjoys. The winner of that match winning advantage for their team in the War Games match later on tonight. We'll be right back with that after just these short messages. Hi, I'm Captain Tyriant Guidel, most dashingly handsome pirate in all of Limsa and the CLOUT Missioner of all Influencer Wrestling. As a swashbuckling pirate, I know a thing or two about hats. And sometimes, even I feel the hats I own are just too big. So when I feel the need for minuscule millinery, there's only one place that comes to mind. TinyHatLabs.com. Tiny Hat Labs have always sought to push the boundaries of what's possible in client engagement millinery feedback solutions. Their guiding question remains the same today as it was when they were founded. What if small hat, but tiny? Operating at the nexus of science, engineering, artificial intelligence, art, fashion and design, Tiny Hat Labs seeks to pave the way to a paradigm shift in headpiece technology. While others ask, how much? TinyHatLabs.com asks, how little? I'm Captain Tyriant Guidel, and TinyHatLabs.com is my favourite place for hats on the internet. Welcome back to Clash for Charity. Battle of the Steves starting right now. Steve Sparks, dominant force here in All Influencer Wrestling.
Making his way to the ring from Minnesota, weighing in at 268 pounds, Steve Unpredictable Sparks.
Last man standing. No pinfall, no submission. This match will be won by whichever of these two men can get their opponent down for a 10 count. This is going to be a hard-hitting bout for certain. Sparks an unpredictable, violent force, but as we have seen time and time again, Stephenjoys is not an opponent to be underestimated. He has pulled out wins in some incredibly unbalanced situations against himself. And here he comes.
And his opponent from Edinburgh, Scotland, weighing in at 158 pounds, Stephenjoys.
The arena here is absolutely bouncing to Stephenjoys' entrance music. A real fan favorite is this competitor. Stephen's purple lighting visible there, high above our special arena. Will Sparks be steering up into those purple lights at the end of this match? Or will it be Stephenjoys down for that 10 count? And we're off. What you also have to bear in mind with a hard-hitting match type like this, how is this going to play through into the War Games match later on? Both of these two men about to go through a little war with each other already. They're going to be absolutely banged up by the time War Games happens later on tonight. Stephenjoys very, very dominant out of the gate, and perhaps unsurprisingly so. We've seen this from Stephen in the past. Knowing what is on the stakes for this particular match, he knows he isn't just fighting for himself, he's fighting for this team. And this is a man who has really pulled it out of the bag whenever others are on the line as well. He's fought for himself, sure, but he goes to a whole other level when he's fighting for others. As we're seeing, very much holding true, Sparks has not really gotten a look in at this match at all. We usually don't see this level of determination, of aggression from Stephenjoys. But he is not giving Sparks a moment to recover. And down onto the ship's decking. Bear in mind, with this being last man standing, there are no countouts. They can spend as much time out here on the deck of the ship as they wish. Driving Sparks once again into the ship's barricade there. Just a blow straight to Sparks' chest. What does Stephen have in now? Is this going to be up and drapes him over the ship's barricade and boot to the head. Aggression we have never really seen from Stephenjoys in his entire time at AIW. Knowing he is fighting for his friends has clearly lit a fire under the streamer. Sparks down for the 4 count. 5. Stephen counting along back in the ring. 7. Sparks down for a 7 count already. Could this be? No, he is back to his feet at 8. Sparks able to get himself back to his feet just in time. Almost an incredibly dominant win there from Stephenjoys, and immediately sends Sparks back out of the ring once again. Feeding off the adulation of the crowd, Stephenjoys watching, waiting as Sparks is lying down on that decking once again, down for 3. Up to the 6 count, Sparks back on his feet again. Stephen vaulting out and, oh, finally Sparks able to get a grapple onto Stephen. Is that going to be a momentum shift for Sparks? Apparently not. Stephenjoys able to get control once again, sending Sparks back into the middle of the ring. Up over the rope and able to block that punch attempt from Sparks with a swift kick and then those swift striking offenses. Sparks, though, able to get a little bit of a momentum shift, whips Stephen into the turnbuckle and that big chop directly into the chest of Stephenjoys. And again, just disrespectful boots to the face. This may be the flaw in the plan that Stephenjoys has had, possibly trying to end this match as quickly as possible to save himself for the 3 other matches this man has booked tonight. But Sparks is just angry now. and wrenching those limbs, trying to seemingly pop Stephen's arm out of its socket. And once again, continuing to work that same arm. Sensible strategy here by Sparks, not only for winning this match, but that arm is going to be hurting for all of Stephen's matches later on. And he's continuing to work that left arm. Very, very sensible strategy by Sparks here. He has a plan and he has stuck to it. And once again, tying Stephen up into that turnbuckle now. What does Sparks have? I think he may be going for it. Yes, he is. Sparks has decided it's time to bust out the weapons. Steel chair in hand, but Stephen able to free himself from that turnbuckle in time to counter. Very thankfully for Stephenjoys, had he remained up in that turnbuckle, given Sparks time to bring that chair into the ring, that would have been a very, very unpleasant situation for him to be in. Oh, Stephen able to reverse muscle memory kicking in there, going into a cradle roll-up. Unfortunately, with a last man standing match, that is not going to help him. There are no pinfall victories in this match type. He has to keep Sparks down for that 10 count to win. And 2, and grabs that counter attempt, and oh, sweeps Sparks' legs out from under him and dropping his back right onto that steel chair that Sparks had brought into the ring. And oh, it's hat slam! Hat slam! That may well have done it. Got the 4 count. Halfway down. Can Sparks recover, or is this it? We're at the 7. We've hit the 8 count before. Can Sparks pull himself back? 9. Is this going to be it? I think it might be. 10. Sparks is down. Stephen has done it. Stephenjoys has done it. The hat slam, putting Sparks down for that 10 count. And with that, Stephen has claimed advantage for his team in War Games later on tonight. That is going to potentially be a significant shift in how that match is going to go. Though with all the focus Sparks put on that left arm of Stephen, is that potentially part of the strategy? We have learned that Golden Ticket is a very accomplished strategist in his own right. Was his command in this match to direct Sparks to do damage to Stephenjoys to allow them a potential path to victory in War Games later on? We will find out. But before we get to that, we have plenty of other action to get to here for Clash for Charity. Next up being the second match tonight for Jenneth Astorio. She is back in action, this time in a triple threat match. MJ Fairhaven, we saw these two come at it during the $1 Shillion Championship match where Jenneth got a decisive victory over MJ. But this time, it's a triple threat. Suriya Violet, also a member in this match. Will Suriya play spoiler to another victory for Jenneth? We'll find out after these quick messages. We will be right back.
Luz tried everything to open the door, but it wouldn't budge. Hammers, axes, magic, saws, more magic, fire, even more magic, and magic explosions. Still, the door refused her. Why? After all this time and effort, why wouldn't the damn thing open? Sure, it was an enchanted door that would open the path to a potentially catastrophic amount of magic pouring back into the universe, causing endless natural disasters that would drown or bury most cities from existence. But there was an equally high chance that wouldn't happen, and that the magic had been sealed away by ignorant fools for nothing. She had to believe there was a reason why she could tap into a sliver of the magic locked behind the door. That this was it, her singular life purpose. Open the door, restore its magic back to everyone like it used to be in the stories, where anyone could use magic, for good or bad. That had to be it, right? That had to be why she was standing here, in the door's pocket dimension, on a small plot of Earth, large enough for only one person to stand in front of it, swearing at this void-black door with iridescent veins flowing along its surface like water, living, taunting her to just open it already. So why was it so hard to swing the damn thing wide? Somehow, she had shoved the door apart just a crack ages ago. A thin, wispy line of light seeped out of a seam down the centre. Whenever she used teleportation magic, as she had decided to call it since she didn't know the correct term and hadn't seen others use it before, probably because it was dangerous and required sliding through space and time, but who was counting? She tapped into a sliver of warmth and power to travel wherever she wished. She'd managed that slight opening unthinking as a child, then never again. What was she doing wrong now? Worse, what if she wasn't doing anything wrong? What if this door wasn't meant to open for her after all? What else could there be for her but this? After everything, after all that searching, what else could there be?
This has been an extract from The Void Door by V.M. Ayala. To read the full story, please visit beneath-ceaseless-skies.com and search for issue 378. And thank you for watching Masterpiece Theatre. Welcome back to Clash for Charity. Rolling right along into our triple threat match.
The following contest, it is a triple threat match. Make your way to the ring from parts unknown. Jenneth.
Her second match on the cards tonight. After losing in that match earlier tonight, how is that going to have affected Jenneth's mood in this, especially with a loss with her partner being the one who got pinned? Now flying solo once again, she is going to be out to inflict violence upon both her competitors in this match.
And her opponents, first from New York,
MJ Fairhaven, the Mother of Pain, an opponent well known to Jenneth Astorio. Has played spoiler, has been absolutely dominated by her. An absolutely chaotic force here in All Influencer Wrestling. She has proven in the past she is more than happy to steal a win through any means necessary. our third competitor in this match, Suriya Violet. Also a competitor who has not had the best of luck since her arrival here in AIW. Very, very much out with something to prove is Suriya Violet. We see Jenneth stalking the outside of the ring, eyes locked dead onto Suriya Violet. And we are set to go. MJ immediately going for Jenneth. Bold move there by the Mother of Pain. Suriya very sensibly perhaps standing back and letting that happen, then picking up the pieces afterwards. But Jenneth right there to play spoiler. This is interesting. A team up between Jenneth and the Mother of Pain there against Suriya. Of course, Jenneth then immediately turning right back, knocking Mother of Pain straight back to the ground. Mother of Pain just shoving Jenneth to the floor, trying to pick up the pieces of Suriya after that brutalization by Jenneth that she just experienced. Jenneth immediately going for the weaponry. We have a kendo stick in the hands of Jenneth Astorio. This is about to be a very unpleasant experience for both of these other... Never mind. She doing it by hand. It's there for her to use. Sends MJ straight out of the ring. Jenneth going up to the top rope. She seems to have her eyes locked on to which of her opponents. It's MJ. Drop kick off the top. Didn't seem to quite connect with it, however. MJ driving Jenneth into that wooden decking. Suriya coming in to take advantage of that distraction. Jenneth back up to her feet and bounced off of the ring steps by Suriya. Big swinging DDT by the Mother of Pain. Again, no countouts in this match. Triple threat rules. They can spend as much time out there on the unforgiving wooden decking as they wish. Look at the power of Suriya Violet, able to just lift and plant Jenneth Astorio. There are not a lot of competitors who have been able to do that. And again, up and over. Though the Mother of Pain right there, waiting for an opportunity and settling in on Suriya as Jenneth just waits and watches. Sending Suriya back into the ring. Jenneth there waiting and ready to capitalize. Throws the Mother of Pain in as well. Just dismissive gestures from Jenneth towards both her opponents. Puts the boot in and the chop and the kick. A powerful combination there by Astorio. Suriya able to get some momentum going though, using Jenneth's own momentum against her, sending her flying over. Fairhaven though able to break up the pin. Bouncing off the chest of Suriya Violet, but right into a grapple by Jenneth, able to break out though. Bouncing around, and there we go with that swinging helicopter takedown maneuver. But what does Suriya have in mind? And it looks like we have the chokehold locked in. A submission victory will count, but Mother of Pain able to turn that into a stunner. Jenneth seemingly frustrated there by maybe not able to find any more weaponry on the outside. Canadian Destroyer by the Mother of Pain. That is going to have left a significant amount of damage, and Jenneth coming charging straight in. And there it is. There's that kendo stick she retrieved earlier. and starts laying into the Mother of Pain, cracking right across the shoulders, into the back of the head. My God, the viciousness of Jenneth Astorio on full display. There's that pinball-like athleticism we have seen from the Mother of Pain before. Gets thrown into the turnbuckle, and a big clubbing blow by Jenneth for her trouble. Catches Suriya's attempt to sneak up from behind with a back elbow. Jenneth very much in control at this point. Just boots into the torso of Suriya. Mother of Pain trying to sneak up from behind. Got a clubbing knee for her troubles. Jenneth going for the pin. Suriya barely back to her feet. Will she make it in time? Doesn't matter. Mother of Pain able to kick out at 1. That incredible resilience of the Mother of Pain coming through. Suriya trying to go for that kendo stick. Jenneth said absolutely not. Jenneth Astorio dominant in this showing right now. And up and just drops the Mother of Pain down. Still, though, that resiliency, the resiliency of Fairhaven. Only a 1 count, even after a maneuver like that. Just shoulder checking the Mother of Pain down, and there's that elbow strike once again to Suriya Violet. And up and over suplex to Violet, sending her back out of the ring. Mother of Pain, though, able to haul up Jenneth, going for the pin. Doesn't manage to connect it, though. Astorio rolling out as Violet back in the ring. Has, though, got into the grips of the Mother of Pain. What does she have in mind? I think she may have that designs on that kendo stick herself. She does indeed. Though Violet able to counter, seeing that coming, those powerful strikes and those ridiculously strong legs of Suriya Violet, that Sun Soul monk training, and oh, the drop from the heavens there. And now Jenneth laying into Violet, just planting her face first into the mat, going for another pinfall attempt. Kicks out at 2. Violet continuing through in this match. Oh, Violet able to catch that punch attempt there and able to get a quick bit of offense in herself. Mother of Pain back into the ring once again. And there we go, using that charging momentum of Jenneth Astorio against her. MJ doing the same thing to Suriya, and I think she's got that kendo stick in mind once again. She very much does. Jenneth able to roll out the way, takes though the blow directly to the head, breaks the kendo stick over the base of Jenneth Astorio. Suriya Violet barely getting back to her feet on the outside, only down for a 1. She just had that kendo stick smashed in her face, and Jenneth says no, only a 1 count for you. With that weapon gone, Mother of Pain out fetching a fresh one. Waiting for her opportunity. And takes it while Jenneth is focused on Suriya Violet. Takes that blow across the back. Oh, what does Violet have in mind? Up and oh my God, look at the power. But no, Jenneth able to reverse and slip out of that standing suplex. What does Mother of Pain have in mind? Strike to the spine. And now Suriya's the one who has nagged that kendo stick. Over the back of Astorio, now going for... Oh, never mind. All that blow did was just make Jenneth angry. Angrier, I should say. Giant swing blow. She's got MJ tied up in the ropes. And there you have it. What a showing. What a showing by Jenneth Astorio. Furious after that earlier match. We are definitely seeing a turnaround in the fortunes of Jenneth Astorio. Bear in mind, she is still advancing through the $1 Shillion Championship. You have to imagine that her opponent next week, Faria Ahmed, was watching that match and has to be concerned about what Jenneth has in store for her next week. And speaking of that $1 million championship, several competitors for that will be in action next after we return. We have another tag match, a mixed tag match this time. It is once again another match for Stephenjoys. This one at least a tag match. He is teaming with Aria Nightvalley to take on the team of Candy Holiday and Big Magic Reynolds. Stephen and Reynolds met last week in that triple threat match, which was won by Chris Cinneas. These two once again on the opposite side of the ring, this time with a tag partner. We'll be right back in a couple of minutes after these quick messages. Get those heels going. Thank you, Steve. In Steve we trust. Steve protects us. Steve is the way. Steve is the light. All right. Oh, and we got a troll. That troll's naked as here, come on. Ah, almost made it back. Oh no, we got ambushed by brains. That's a mood. Oh, Ice Storm 16. Hey, Daspiv. Oh, okay, so Daspiv just healed Tiamat. Oh, sorry, Daspiv just healed her. Sorry, Leon healed Tiamat. Daspiv is great. Tell Sanya love. Sanya, Daspiv loves you. Great if Steve could cure Ty before he takes another hit. Okay, well, technically that was what I said would be great. It's not exactly the path I intended to get there, but I suppose technically that's what I asked for. It would appear that he is, in fact, down here choking the serpent. My chair was stolen while I was gone. And now this one is here. Very upset about the fact that I removed him from said chair. And we are encountering the bane of every TTRPG party, a mimic door. Oh, that's awful though. And Sid's getting stoned, and not in a fun way. Trees in the forest are alive. They can understand human speech and can read minds. The trees are alive, and they say, F you. Slept like a top. You know, I know that's not how that line is meant to be read, but I also don't understand how it makes sense any other way either. Oh, balls, it's a monster in a box. Okay. Oh, steal the spectacles. I'm getting so many silver spectacles. Stop stealing my gil, you bastard. That's the question is, can I kill this before that Doom counter on Terror expires? The answer appears to be no. The answer appears to be yes. So it can bounce off and zap you. Oh, and you just did banish again. Oh, cool. The entire party got banished. Well, that didn't get off to a great start. Right. Is this a switch? Yep. There we go. Oh, wait, look at that. I stepped on the switch, and it revealed a new hole. I think we go back up to... I see a hole I haven't tried yet. Here we have that music we're going to be hearing quite a few times tonight as Stephenjoys makes his way back to the ring.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, from Edinburgh, Scotland, weighing in at 158 pounds, Stephenjoys.
The second of 4 matches tonight for Stephenjoys. Of course, after this, he will be in that War Games match later on, and later in the night as well, will be teaming up with fellow Stream team member Vattlestar Valactica to take on the team of Avric and Asha. But for right now, teaming up with Aria Nightvalley to take on Candy Holiday and a Big Magic Reynolds. This match requested by Aria herself, seemingly having her eye on Stephen as somebody to team with. Aria coming off of a loss in the $1 million tournament. She was knocked out by Lucette Foster in a surprising turnaround in our opening match on last week's Broadside. You have to wonder if this match request had something to do with targeting one of the remaining competitors in that tournament. If Aria can score a victory over Candy Holiday, could Candy then proceed to win that belt? You have to imagine that would position Aria with an excellent case to argue for a title shot at it herself later down the line. Here we have their opponents, 2 wrestlers who have not yet worked together. It'll be interesting to see how both of these teams, new to each other, are able to collaborate.
And from Colorado, weighing in at 280 pounds, Big Magic Reynolds.
Of course, no stranger to collaborations within the lab. How will Big Magic Reynolds be able to take that experience and correlate it inside the wrestling ring? Lights go on, bearing the marking of Artificer Industries on his shoulder. Big Magic Reynolds, a towering force in this ring. An interesting matchup, this one. We have, through the history of AIW, seen quite a few tall versus small matches. This one, both teams a combination of tall and small, but on different sides. The shorter and Candy Holiday partnered with the towering Big Magic Reynolds. Meanwhile, we have the giantly tall Faye Princess teamed with the somewhat shorter Stephenjoys. It'll be interesting to see if that dynamic has an effect in the match. Candy Holiday in advance of her match against Lucette in that $1 million tournament. Aria, of course, being the wrestler that Lucette knocked off to advance. If Aria can score a win over Candy, again, that'll be quite the claim for a future title shot herself. But we start out with Stephen and Reynolds in the ring. And again, Stephen out the gate, showing uncharacteristic aggression, but Reynolds absolutely punishing him for it. Very even back and forth between these two thus far. Countering, and Stephen immediately, oh, maybe not going for a pinfall, but immediately, nope, there he goes. He is indeed. Reynolds kicking out at 2. Stephen trying to end the match early. Again, he does have 2 additional matches on the cards tonight. It's definitely in his best interest to either get this one done quickly or allow Aria Nightvalley to do as much of the lifting as possible. But some, again, uncharacteristic showboating for Stephen. He is really feeling the energy of the arena here this night. And then Candy Holiday with a giant running knee strike. And oh my god, we have not seen Candy bust that one out before. Vaulting back over the top rope. Amazing athleticism from Candy Holiday. And going for the... well, Stephen there, distracting the referee, trying to rescue his partner from that chokehold, did seem to do the job. Candy taking that tag moment back in. Reynolds and Stephen now both illegal competitors. Head scissors takedown by Stephenjoys, taking that charging momentum of Reynolds and using it against him. And big splash there from Stephen. Did quite a bit of damage to his own torso there by that. Oh, and chop blow straight to the throat, and Stephenjoys down onto the mat. Quick kick, breaking the momentum of Reynolds, not allowing him to get any sort of consistency going. Reynolds, though, just says, nope, had enough, shoves Stephen down to the mat. Only good enough for a 1, though. two dancing around each other, going for a grapple, getting into a show of strength with Reynolds. Not a smart idea. Pulls Stephen across the mat and then just pounding into the face of Stephenjoys. And wrenching the neck. That's not chiropractic, that is just there to cause pain. But, oh, big swinging DDT attempt there from Stephenjoys, drawing Reynolds back into the mat. Only good enough for a 1, though. Quick strike by Stephen. Pushes Reynolds back into that corner. And... oh! Driving Reynolds off of that turnbuckle. The athleticism of Stephen very much showing through. Going for the pinfall. But Candy coming out of nowhere, diving across the ring to break that attempt up. Candy staring down Stephen there, who wanted absolutely none of that, and I don't blame him. Reynolds powering out of that one. Oh, driving the knee into the face of Stephen. And we saw it earlier with Sparks. Reynolds identified that injured left arm of Stephenjoys. But tags now back in Candy Holiday. Sends Aria Nightvalley down to the mat with that knee strike, up onto the turnbuckle, and attempted to go for a drop kick. Aria had it scouted, able to get out of the way. Very sensible ring maneuvering here by Lady Nightvalley, keeping Candy locked between her corner turnbuckle, preventing Candy from being able to make it back. But Andy, no, apparently Aria says, no, Stephen, you're doing the work. Stephen says, totally fine. Hat slam on Reynolds. We've seen it finish one match tonight. Is it going to be another 2? Candy Holiday says no. Candy there to break that up. We almost saw the hat slam finish a second match. Back up to the top rope goes Stephenjoys. He's scouting Reynolds. What does he have in mind? Oh, whatever he had. I think he went for a forearm there, but Reynolds had that scouted, able to dodge out of the way. Hauls Stephen and lugs him around like a sack of XPS foam. Tags back in Candy Holiday. Aria Nightvalley back able as the legal competitor. With the rules of these mixed matches, when one opponent tags, the other has to tag in. Candy sending Aria out of the ring. What does she have in mind? Tried to go for maybe a knee strike out of the ring, but Aria able to block out of the way. Coming back in. Candy, I think, has got distracted by somebody's t-shirt in the ring there. She was admiring that and didn't really see what Aria was up to. Going there for wrenching the back. Reynolds coming in to try and break it up, but did not need to. Candy Holiday able to power out with those strikes to the face of Aria Nightvalley. Oh, interesting strategy by Candy Holiday, sending Aria Nightvalley into Stephenjoys, knocking him off of the turnbuckle. Bounces Aria's face off of her own corner. Aria able to dodge out of the way, but once again, Candy got her in that grasp and back into the other corner. This is an incredible showing by Candy Holiday, not just for the technical acumen, but that ring awareness, that strategy that she has been showing. foot into the throat of Aria Nightvalley. And using her smaller size to her advantage, hanging off of that top rope and using that for momentum to drive that double knee strike in. Candy Holiday is feeling it, that strut. Only down for a 1 though. Our flighty Fey Princess showing that impressive resilience. Gets her face driven down to the mat for her trouble though. Another pinfall attempt by Candy. Reynolds stalking the ring to make sure Stephen doesn't attempt to break it up, but Aria able to break out on her own. Oh my god, look at that running strike there from Candy. Only a 1. Only a 1. Aria is showing incredible resistance and is now playing possum, perhaps rolled over, able to get a few strikes on Candy. Is this going to be a shift in momentum? Sensible ring awareness by Aria, moving Candy away from those ropes so she cannot score a rope break. Big strike across. Oh, and go for a visit to the Winter Court. Candy Holiday. 1, 2. Did not need that assist from Reynolds. Candy Holiday able to kick out of that finisher attempt by Aria Nightvalley. Quick 1-2 punch combo by Aria, going up to the top rope. What does she have in mind? Those wings are not just for show, but oh, looked like Candy had it scouted. Aria bouncing through to still land that splash, but also only enough for a 1. Very, very impressive adaptation by Lady Nightvalley, but Candy once again back into the swing of it with that big kick to the face. Stephen, can he make it into the ring? Didn't quite make it in time, but Lady Nightvalley able to get that shoulder up. That was 2.999. Barely keeping her team in this as Lady Nightvalley, but in it they remain. Smart possible move here by Candy. Is she going for the tag? Nope, she is isolating Aria in her team's corner. There's the tag. Stephenjoys ready to go, and Stephen wanting to come to the rescue here. Runs straight into that boot by Reynolds though. Stephen's enthusiasm to save his partner. Oh, double offense by Candy and Reynolds. Power slamming their opponents down to the mat. Baited that in. Ref, what are you doing? Get down there. 1, 2. Stephen able to pick out. A little bit of confusion there by the ref. May have just saved this match for Stephenjoys. I have to question that behavior there by the referee. It makes me wonder. Was that perhaps further strategy by the golden ticket? Stephen reversing the chokeslam attempt by Reynolds. You have to imagine for Golden Ticket being the leader of one of the teams in War Games later on, it would be in his interests to get Stephen as damaged as possible before it. That confusion by the ref, was that legitimate or was that part of a strategy by Golden Ticket? I would not put it past it. Oh, Reynolds. He has it up. And it's the hype train. Stephen down for the count. 1, 2. Holiday is right there, though. And Aria Nightvalley saves the match once again for her team. Tag made by Reynolds. Candy Holiday, Aria Nightvalley are now both legal. Swinging neck breaker by Aria Nightvalley. Draping kick there. Stephen on the ring apron, getting back into position. Counter by Candy Holiday. Drives Nightvalley back to the mat. Just waiting for her opportunity. Gave Aria, though, too long to recover. Those strikes to the back of the knee of Candy. And there once again, dropping Candy's face onto the foot of Aria. The disrespect. Oh, look at that. A slap. The "you are not worth my time" leaves Candy on the mat and drops Stephen in, going once again for that big swinging DDT we've seen from him. Candy Holiday is not going to take that one lying down. Oh, Reynolds just showing Aria what happens to her when she shows that disrespect to his partner. Pummeling Stevens back into the turnbuckle right in front of Aria and sends Candy right back in. This match is very quickly becoming very personal between these two teams. Aria back up to the top rope, perhaps going for that splash again, and indeed, same again. Boom, and doubles through. Lands it, but Zero is right there coming in to distracting the ref from the count. Zero able to get it through, but Aria has something in mind. Waiting for Candy back to feet. Oh, and that spinning and... oh, planting Candy's face into the mat. Zero back in once again, though. And again, going for that ref. Zero keeping this match alive for his team. The longer this match goes, though, the worse it's going to be for Stephenjoys later on. Aria debating following through with Candy, but no, goes to tag Stephen back in. And Stephen gets again that big DDT onto Reynolds. He's in his team's corner. Candy's still down. 2. Reynolds powers out at 2. I thought Stephen had it with that one, but the sheer tenacity of Big Magic Reynolds. Trying to go for that head scissors takedown. Reynolds managed to avoid it, but still got planted to the deck for his trouble. Aria Nightvalley tagged back in. Aria and Candy legal once again. Plants Aria into the knee of Candy. What's she got in mind? A strike straight to the spine of... oh, and again a little bit of the shimmy there from Candy, hyping up the crowd, but may have been a terrible mistake. No, baited Aria into it, and a spinning elbow to counter. Possibly part of a strategy there by Candy Holiday. Counters that suplex attempt, vaults up and over, grabs Aria by the wings, drags her down to the mat, and just blows to the throat of Lady Nightfall. She's waiting. She needs to get Aria away from that corner, though. If she attempts a pinfall here, Stephen is right there to break that up. Hauls Aria back to her feet, and there's that draping knee strike, but that ring positioning is still not going to work in Candy's favor. Doing the damage, going back over maybe for another tag attempt with Reynolds, and indeed she is. Stephen back in, Reynolds legal. Oh, Reynolds going for the chokeslam. Fat slam! It's the 3rd fat slam, 2nd in this match. Is that going to do it? Candy's there, the ref is in the way. No, Candy Holiday breaks up the pinfall once again. Stephen going up to the top rope. He's got that giant splash onto Reynolds. Again, damage to the ribs of Stephenjoys. A concerning lack of self-preservation shown. Bit of a miss on that strike there by Candy, but she's following up with the fists. And up onto the shoulders. And boom! Slams Aria onto the mat. Stephen's up though, Zero stunned on the outside. Candy is not done. What does she have in mind here? And a running big knee. Stephen though, one. Stephen trying to go to distract Zero. Nope, Stephen got the ref distracted. This match continues to roll on. Both teams absolutely determined not to let this end. Stephen once again back into the ring. And again, distracting the referee, refusing Aria to be pinned. Big Magic Reynolds still stunned on the outside. Candy keeping this match alive single-handedly for her team. Nightvalley back to her feet. Big kick and strike. There's that quick strike combination by Candy Holiday. And there once again, that big running knee strike. And yep, there's Stephen yelling to the referee. I'm relatively certain I heard Stephen yelling something about AV1 encoding. I don't know what that means, but it certainly was enough to get the ref's attention. Candy's had enough. Those constant interruptions by Stephen. She wants Zero to get some work in here and make it so that Stephen cannot interfere once again. But with all that damage done to Aria, this very sensible move by Candy, Aria not able to interfere. If Zero can get this match done quickly, Stephen will not have an assist for his own. Oh, but it goes with that swinging takedown. Oh, Zero rolls through into that cradle. What is the ref up to? Ref! What? Oh, is this a... There we go, finally. 1, 2. We definitely need to do some investigation after this match. I am increasingly convinced Golden Ticket has paid this ref off. That match should have been over at that point. Stephen once again doing damage to Reynolds. It has given Aria Nightvalley enough time to recover on the outside, and Stephen going for the left arm, deciding he is not going to be the only one with an injured limb in this match. And pulls Zero over to his corner. Is he going to go for the tag? He is indeed. Aria Nightvalley now legal. Aria getting oh, they say you did this to us earlier. We, I think, are seeing the retaliation. Oh, no, they're doing something slightly different. Big clothesline ducked under by both, and double diving clotheslines onto the opponents. 1, 2. Candy Holiday kicks out. My God. Clothesline sending Aria down. Candy barely conscious at this point. Aria crawling over to the turnbuckle. Counter by Aria, sending Candy down to the mat. And wrenching the neck of Candy Holiday there, following the lead of Zero from earlier. Frustration, I think, showing here with Aria Nightvalley just pounding Candy down into the mat. Technique is gone, and just wrapping those legs around, punching straight into the face of Candy Holiday. Aria is done with technique. Aria is done with grace. She is digging deep down, and big swinging spear roaring through to the crowd. Is that going to do it? Zero's right there. Nope, Zero interfering with the ref as once again this match continues to roll through. Though here we have figure 4 leg lock. She's got it locked in. Can Candy hold through? And there's the bridge. That is in deep. And can she get powered up? She can. She's got that fully locked in. Zero interfering with the ref again. Maybe not the best. Candy able to power through. Does not tap. Stephen has had enough. Taking out Zero off the ring apron with that flying elbow. Candy now getting hyped up. pounding the boot into the chest of Aria Nightvalley. You have to imagine backstage, Lucette Foster must be watching this match, wondering what she is going to have to do to put away Candy during their match in the tournament next week. And there once again, that big running strike. Stephen coming in and again yelling to the ref something about a new update to a stream deck. But Candy pounding Aria down to the mat, pulls through, and another big running knee strike. Tags in 0, taking Aria out. Can Reynolds capitalize? Stephen dodging under the clothesline attempt, knocking 0 down to the mat, going for the ankle. Knocking out the leg of Stephenjoys. Off the rope and up and over he goes, crashing down. Another tag. Candy back in. Stephen there stunned on the mat. If Candy can capitalize on that damage done to Aria, this might be the opening that she is so desperately needed. But Aria, able to get the best of that exchange, sends Candy up and over down to the mat, taking a moment to bask in it. That is going to be a terrible mistake, I think. Goes for that neck breaker onto Candy. She's in her corner. Irish whip off the ropes and back in and able to catch. Just driving Candy Holiday, planting her down to the mat. Stephen, Candy out of it. This is an opportunity for Stephen to be able to complete this match, but 0 going with, and his turn to showboat, and Stephen making him pay for it. Here it is again. Hat slam once again. Candy is on the outside. 1, 2, 0 powers out. Big Magic Reynolds surviving another hat slam. Working the ankle now of Stephenjoys. 0, I think they went to look for a tag for Candy, but she is still stunned on the outside of the ring, waiting for Stephen, and there he goes. Choo Stephenjoys. With the speed of a charging train, Reynolds sends Stephen crashing to the outside. And up, and that is going to do a lot of damage. The back of Stephenjoys sent crashing onto the wooden decking. Big running boot by Reynolds. Hauls Stephen back into the ring. Going for some sort of head grab maneuver. Stephen able to power through. Oh, has locked in that spinning head scissors takedown that he's used to great effect multiple times. Going perhaps for the tag. Bouncing Reynolds' head, and there it is. Tags in Lady Nightvalley. And they are gearing up for another double team attempt. Are we going to see that same double spear? I think we might be. They bounce Candy and Reynolds off, ducks the door clotheslines, and double spear. Double spear. Aria goes for the pin. This has to be it. Surely. And it is, at long last, Aria Nightvalley putting away Candy Holiday after that was not a match. That was not a wrestling match. That was a fight. That was a straight out brawl. Team Purple leaving their opponents black and blue, but taking no end of punishment themselves. That is going to be a major factor in Stephen's remaining matches. And let's also not forget, Candy and Aria are both also in action later on tonight as well. They won that match, but at what cost? What a performance by all four of those competitors. But we are not done yet. That brings us up next, the final match in the first half of Clash for Charity. It is our co-main event. We saw them in action in the opening match. Mary, Glyx, the Sold CLOUT Championship is on the line. Those two will be in action for that title defense. Up next, we will be right back. Hi, I'm Captain Turiant Guidel, most dashingly handsome pirate in all of Minster, and the CLOUT Missioner of all Influencer Wrestling. As a swashbuckling pirate, I know a thing or two about hats, and sometimes even I feel the hats I own are just too big. So when I feel the need for minuscule millinery, there's only one place that comes to mind: tinyhatlabs.com. Tiny Hat Labs have always sought to push the boundaries of what's possible in client engagement millinery feedback solutions. Their guiding question remains the same today as it was when they were founded. What if small hat, but tiny? Operating at the nexus of science, engineering, artificial intelligence, art, fashion and design, Tiny Hat Labs seeks to pave the way to a paradigm shift in headpiece technology. While others ask, how much? tinyhatlabs.com asks, how little? I'm Captain Turiant Guidel, and tinyhatlabs.com is my favourite place for hats on the internet.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall and is for the prestigious Internet Championship.
Fresh off their victory in the opening tag match, Mary and Glyx now across the ring from one another. That championship around Glyx's waist on the line. After ending the rivalry with Vattlestar in a show of friendship, Mary has been going from strength to strength here in All Influencer Wrestling. Is this going to be the pinnacle of that? Will she rise to the top? Will she have sold CLOUT? Or can Glyx galvanize her reign? The belt that she took from Mackayla Lane, her first time having to defend it. Glyx absolutely going to be out here to prove that she is not just a paper champion. Mary basking into it. She knows this is the best opportunity she has had, and if this does not succeed, who knows when she's going to get another. Here, our champion. She wants to keep that title around her waist. That is what it is all about here. It's all about the clout. Sold clout in this case.
Introducing the challenger from New York, New York, the Animal Princess.
The hair is up. Mary is not here to play.
And her opponent from Chroma City, she is the prestigious Internet Champion, the Superstar.
She knows what she had to get through to win that. Glyx is not willing to give that title up. And there she is. She knows what's at stake. Nothing is more important in this world than clout. We all know that. And here they go, locking up Mary with that quick strike out the gate, definitely looking to establish early momentum, hauling Glyx up onto her shoulder and slamming down. Any friendship from that earlier tag match cannot play into this. They both have to leave this all in the ring if they want to chase that all-important clout. Glyx fighting back, powering up, sends Mary into the corner there, wrenching the arm around the rope. Driving knees into that gut of Mary. Glyx trying to do as much damage as possible early on. Just shoving her boots into the throat of Mary, and down go the knees. That did a ton of damage to our Druid Princess, but nowhere near enough. Druid on Druid action here. Hopefully, neither of these two are too tapped out on spell slots after this. I have a feeling that Stephenjoys could be using a few of those good berries right about now. Wrenching the arms back and just kicking the face of Mary down into the canvas, but up she goes, kip up and counters back. Tried to go for a grapple. We've seen that maneuver from Glyx so many times before. Those dangerous, powerful leg strikes off of the ropes. Glyx knows how to use that momentum in her favor. Waiting, just baiting Mary to get back to her feet. Bouncing her off the ropes, and there's again flying punch going through. Ref's in position at 1, 2, Mary kicks out. It's going to take more than that to keep her down in this opportunity especially. Pulls Mary back up. Mary catches that attempt and throws Glyx into the ropes, tying her up. Irish whip. And Glyx able to shoulder check Mary out of the way. Just kick, punch, and slap. Mary perhaps going back to what she was attempting before, up and bounces Glyx off and uses that momentum to power her through into an overhead suplex. Just walking over Glyx. Knee strike to the face. And back over again. Mary knowing if you want that clout, you have to be willing to step over people to get it. That's what we've been taught. Wrapping up the legs, going for a submission maneuver here, perhaps. Going for that. Oh, no, wrenching the arms too. Has Glyx tied up in a pretzel knot here. Rolling through, Glyx able to reverse the pressure and escape. Bouncing Mary off the ropes. Mary this time able to shoulder check Glyx, preventing whatever she had in mind, but holds Mary up to the top. And there it is. Go to sleep, Mary. 1, 2. No, Mary able to power through. Glyx just saying power this time. knocking Mary down with that powerful strike, going up top, and a diving stomp directly into the gut of Mary. Mary kicking out at 1. Mary knowing what is at stake, she is determined to power through. Her intention here is to wild shape herself into a champion. Sends Glyx flying down to the outside, rolls through after. Kick to the gut. Oh, this has backfired horribly for Mary. And bounces off the hardest part of the ring and swings her back into it. Knee to the inside thigh of Mary. Glyx hyping herself up on the outside. For count. Mary has to get the action here back inside the ring. Champion's advantage in this match. If this match ends in a count-out or disqualification, it does not matter. Glyx will retain. Mary has to get her back inside the ring. And there she goes, and following back through. Mary this time going once again back to that submission. She's got the sharpshooter locked in. We already did a lot of damage to those legs of Glyx earlier. Can she power through? Mary has that cinched in deep, but Glyx able to reverse the momentum, able to reverse the pressure, powers through. Glyx sending Mary smacking down to the mat. And boom, knocking her down. Big impact there onto Mary. And Glyx takes it. Glyx retains her championship.
Here is your winner, and still prestigious Internet Champion, the Superstar.
Valiant showing by Mary, but Glyx not that paper champion. She holds on to that all-impressive, all-important clout. You have to wonder who is going to position themselves as Glyx's next challenger after this. What a co-main event, and that brings us to the end of our first half here of Clash for Charity. But we are far, far from done. There's a ton more action to come, including another 4-way Falls Count Anywhere match where we will see not only Glyx in action again, but Candy and Aria as well, against also a fresh Mackayla Lane, who has to at this point be the favourite to win that match. Coming into it fresh as the only competitor, Stephen will be back in action again with Vattlestar versus Avric and Asha, but to kick off our second half, it's the match you've been waiting for. It's the match I booked last week to shut down Golden Ticket's constant interruption of my show. It's War Games. Golden Ticket, Sparks and Brock versus Renaise Crimson, Chris Cinneas, and Stephenjoys. We do have to switch over to a neighbouring arena that we have borrowed for this, given that unfortunately the arena we are hosting Clash for Charity in is not large enough to contain all the action of a War Games match. So we will be right back after a slightly extended break. Get your hydration in, go get your hot dogs, maybe don't get the hot dogs, we don't know what's in them, but get yourself the beer that you smuggled in because none of you are paying $20 for a Budweiser. Get your beer out, go get your snacks, get your tea brewed if you're watching at home, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes for War Games. I'll see you shortly.
That's how it works,
left,
right?
Like, that's how it works, yeah. Hi, I am Chris Cinneas, aka the Painting Pirate. He can pronouns, variety streamer, miniature painter, all kinds of nonsense. And I am playing Captain Tyrion Guidal, the most dashingly handsome pirate in all of Norwood. And it has not escaped my notice that Captain is on Ink on Skin's art, but not on mine.
As
which
it
is
fucking should be, baby.
We are going. That is going to be addressed. That will not let slide.
Let's go. No.
Stop it. A synthetic Twitty.
Okay. So,
No. Stop. You can't do this to us anymore.
You are too powerful.
Alright, that's like too much power right
It's
now.
funnier because the transparent background didn't work.
It's really funny. That's like 90s clip art ever.
Never said graphic art is my passion more.
I know. Holy shit.
So, who the deal?
Two hands, who can't breathe?
Me.
Alright.
Oh.
Una deal. You would.
Is it hot in here? Is it just me?
Oh yeah. And, other captain. What was your initiative?
Other captain.
Not other
Primary captain, but 18.
Primary captain. Primary colors.
Look, before the end of this, it's going to be a PvP fight, and he's going to be an admiral because he's going to start taking people's ships.
Look, he's about. No. Captain Ingon Skin's about to get murked by a Rakshasa. I'm fine. This is a problem that's solving
I don't
itself.
believe you.
It just
Violence.
try just kind of
Captain
give a side
Violence.
of glare.
I'm playing both teams. I play all teams. Let's go.
You really do. This is you in real life, though, Syrup. This is why I say you should
Yeah, it
have
is.
fought.
Yeah, it is. I think
Don't call
I
me
was
out
about
like
to
the
say,
shortest.
Nope, too late.
I was about to do it anyway. I was coming for you.
I mean, that's why you're claiming you're a captain. You've just got endless ships.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Fucking. Wow.
I would like to give my advantage to Pirate for that one.
I approve.
You are
My fire.
the one.
Desire. I don't know.
Believe.
This next line.
I don't know.
I want it that way.
Tell me why. I'm sorry, I got carried away.
This is the legendary action. I know words.
Oh my god. What?
Beautiful.
Who are you and what have you done, Chris?
Oh no, that's definitely Chris.
So good, bro. So good.
So,
Can I like just step in and just be like, excuse me, somebody actually, there's this small gnome person that just appears, and as I need a moment to react to Pirate right now, it's just like, this is fucking Pulp Fiction, really? Anyway.
Yeah, did anybody see Tyrion with the scroll?
Yeah.
Where did that
okay,
go?
like
Where did that go?
I understand that there's
So can
a
we get
union for
a
a
runner?
y'all actor.
What? Why is there
I am so
the
happy.
hat?
He's
is
a
amazing.
Thordak burner.
Yeah.
There you go. All right.
See, you may be the fur holder, but I am the captain. And snaps his fingers
Shut the fuck up.
to disintegrate the fur holder.
The following is a men's War Games match. The rules of the match are as follows. 2 teams will be contained in separate cages, with 1 member of each team starting the match. At regular intervals, alternating members from each team will be released to enter the match. The team with the advantage will be the first to have a member released into the match. Once all competitors have entered, War Games officially begins. The match could be won by pinfall or submission. Exiting the cage will result in a forfeit. Now, let the War Games begin!
And it is time. This intense rivalry that has been brewing between the Golden Ticket and Renaise, both assembling their teams for this match. And here is the leader of the first team.
Introducing first, from London, England, weighing in at 242 pounds,
Renaise Crimson busting out special ring attire for this very special premium live event, switching up the purple to match with Stephen for an attempt at team solidarity.
Weighing in at 242 pounds, Reynolds Crimson.
Renaise, a longtime friend of Chris Cinneas, and recruiting Stephenjoys as part of their team as well.
Here we go.
But here, this arsehole.
Weighing in at 275 pounds, GT.
It was his interruption on Broadside last week that caused me to book this match. I'm tired of these two constantly going at each other, interrupting the show I've been trying to run. No matter what way, this ends tonight. Ticket staring down Renaise in the ring. It's been a blood feud between these two. Will actual friendship and loyalty on Team Renaise triumph over the paid-off team that Golden Ticket has found to support him? Of course, both teams have at least one member who has been in action tonight. Right, and we are off, ready to go. Renaise and the Golden Ticket, these two blood feud rivals, locked down in the middle of the ring. We see up there, up the top of those steps, the other 2 members of each team in those cages. At routine intervals, 1 member will be released to join the match. With that advantage that Stephenjoys won for his team earlier, it'll be either Stephen or Cinneas who comes out first. Then alternating, and once all 6 members are in the ring, victory will be possible at that point. Golden Ticket up and planting Renaise down onto the mat. Ren captures knee to the gut Golden Ticket. Ducks a clothesline attempt and up, and the power of Renaise Crimson. Okay, keeps that grip on around the waist, and another suplex. He's still got it. He's gonna go for 3. And up, and an absolute display of power there by Renaise Crimson. The rivalry with Ticket definitely pushing him up to new heights. Vaults Ticket over into the second ring. Climbs back through, continues chasing, and swinging DDT. Chopped to the throat of Golden Ticket. We can see down there in the bottom of the screen, it is Stephenjoys who will be joining this match next in 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we can hear, it seems, Steven's music not playing. Perhaps an attempt by Golden Ticket arranging that too to undermine it. But Steven going for a table immediately. Steven stocking up the ring. Slides that table in. Meanwhile, Renaise catches Ticket, slams him down. This is a situation Golden Ticket did not want to find himself in. Steven still bringing another table into the match. Up and through the table! My God, the teamwork being shown here by Stephenjoys and Renaise. The match does not even officially start until all three members are in the ring. This is why the advantage in this match is so vital. Steven picking up the kendo stick. Ren sending Ticket out into the currently clear ring. Steven armed and very dangerous with that kendo stick. After seemingly believing Ticket had paid off that ref in his match teamed up with Aria, a lot of frustration perhaps to get out against this man. But his opponent from earlier about to enter the ring. It's Sparks' turn. Also apparently entering without his usual music, seemingly somebody who is given the audio files in this arena did not do their job properly. We will have to send somebody over to have a word with them about that, and you can see there waiting in the back, Chris Cinneas and Brock both still waiting to get into this match. Sparks grabbing one of those tables, pulling it over into the ring, coming to Golden Ticket's rescue. Driving Renaise down, Ticket grabbing that table, setting it up. Nope, Steven not wanting any part of that. Bounces Ticket off the ropes and big spinning kick. Team Purple very much doing a phenomenal job of having some teamwork going here. Renaise has that kendo stick back up. Steven hauling Sparks into a submission maneuver, trying to establish some of that body damage on him. Sparks retaliates. Golden Ticket finally pulling himself off of the ring apron there and drops Renaise down to the not once, not twice. Spinning takedown. Ticket and Sparks are very much in control at this point. Sparks going up to the top of the cage. What does Sparks have in mind from up there? And diving splash. Steven had it scouted, drives out of the way. Sparks just sending himself down into the mat. And here comes the third member of this team, Chris Cinneas, out the cage, making his way in. Stopping himself to grab some additional weaponry from the outside. He's got that stop sign. Decides that is not enough. He's going for more. He's got the sledgehammer. And that is still not enough for Cinneas. Steel chair as well, filling the ring with weaponry. He's decided that should do it. Leaving the weaponry over on the other side, he has come through to join his team. We have a 3-on-2 situation until Brock is able to escape the cage and join. Cinneas grabs Sparks from the outside, up and over. And swinging through, planting Golden Ticket down, 3 up, 2 down. This is not a great situation for Golden Ticket's team right now. And there we have, I thought Stephen was going to go for the hat slam, and that is maybe what he was attempting, but Sparks able to reverse it. Renaise setting up the table. Is he going to put him through it again? He's got, once again, Ticket in mind. Cinneas has the kendo stick. Renaise taking too long to decide what to do with Ticket there, able to power out. Cinneas striking into the back of him. Head scissors takedown. Dominant performance by the Purple Pirates, but the game changer is about to enter the arena. Here he comes, the Gardener, Brock. Sparks' powerhouse, Sparks' bodyguard. And with Brock entering the ring, we are now in full effect. War Games is on. All 3 men in the ring. How will that advantage for Team Renaise play out through the rest of this match? Cinneas trying to grapple down Brock, but the power simply too much. That allowed Stephen to come in with that momentum and drive Brock down to the canvas. Meanwhile, Renaise has Sparks up on his shoulder and plants him down as well. Tandem offense by Cinneas and Stephen, but not enough to overcome the sheer power of Brock. Renaise, meanwhile, over in the other ring, going back to the top. Big splash onto Sparks, who had it scouted, got out the way. Brock and Golden Ticket dominant over on the other side. Stop sign to the face of Stephen. Brock has Cinneas up and bounces his head off of that turnbuckle. Renaise went through the table in the other ring. Sparks dominating Renaise over on the other side. Stephen attempted maybe to go and join, but did not. This is not looking good for Renaise's team. Cinneas getting brutalized by Brock. Sparks and Golden Ticket, the only 2 standing. All 3 of the Purple Piratey team are down. Brock waiting for Cinneas to get back to his feet. Stephen, though, manages to get that swinging takedown in. Renaise grappling with Sparks, sending him out into the middle through to the other ring. Meanwhile, Brock bouncing Cinneas off. I think Renaise realizing there for a moment the position he had put Cinneas in, going through to continue to assist to make sure he doesn't leave his teammate in a 2-on-1 situation. Ticket just taking that moment to pose. But that was a mistake with Stephenjoys. You do not turn your back to that opponent. Sparks going for an early pinfall. Cinneas there able to break it up. Cinneas has a submission locked in on Sparks, but Stephenjoys between the 2 powerhouses of Golden Ticket and Brock, who have now just left him lying, seeing the predicament that Sparks may have been in, coming to save the matchup for their team. Renaise has that. Tried to go for a strike with that steel chair to Sparks, who got that and countered. Stephen in the other ring has got a little bit of time to recover, pulling back through. He has taken a number of beatings in multiple matches today. Pushes Ticket to the ground, allowing Renaise to follow up with that backsplash. Renaise once again climbing up to the top of the cage. He's got Ticket lying prone. Stephen got that sledgehammer into Brock's face. And there is Ticket down and stunned. If Sparks can remain in those ropes, and Cinneas following through, if Brock can continue to be occupied by Stephen, submission locked in by Renaise. If the rest of his team can keep Ticket's teammates occupied, is Ticket going to tap? Renaise has that locked in deep. Ticket able to power out. That was an incredible opportunity for the team. Unfortunately, Ticket too determined, too strong. Stephen going in strong with that steel chair on Brock. You have to. Brock is a powerhouse. Dominant and resilient. That is what it is going to take to keep that man down. Stephen going for the pin. Ticket powering out. Cinneas going up and diving elbow to aimed at Sparks, who saw it, got out the way, but into a takedown by Stephenjoys. Cinneas back with the sledgehammer. It's like, well, if you're going to dive out the way of my dive, I'm just going to break your damn ankle. Renaise, meanwhile, has isolated Brock and is taking the moment to do a little showboating, which is a bold move with a opponent as powerful as Brock. Hat slam on Golden Ticket. Hat slam. But Sparks just rolled Cinneas out to the ring. Counters with a takedown of his own. Big clothesline there from Cinneas. Ticket still down. Got that sledgehammer again. Oh, I heard the crunch from all the way over in this other arena. Sparks' ankle may well be damn broken after that assault by Cinneas, but power slam, spin, and Ticket punch. But Cinneas right there, able to overpower Sparks enough to easily break that pinfall attempt. And there again, that sledgehammer remaining in the grasp of Renaise's team, doing a lot of damage. Stephen and Cinneas double teaming Golden Ticket while Renaise has Brock up and down for that pile driver. This may well be it. 1, 2, 3. Renaise got the pinfall on Brock. Team Renaise has won.
Here are your winners.
Brutality, violence, bloodshed, but the Purple Pirates team of Renaise, Stephen, and Cinneas is victorious. The Golden Tickets Alliance being bought out. No match in the end for the team formed on actual friendship. The power of friendship triumphs over all once again. You love to see it. But we are far from done with Clash for Charity. We are going right back to our main arena for a fatal 4-way Falls Count Anywhere match. 3 opponents have been in action tonight, 1 fresh. Candy Holiday, Glyx, Aria Nightvalley, and Mackayla Lane will be in action after these quick messages. We'll be right back. Hi, I'm Captain Turiant Guidel, most dashingly handsome pirate in all of Lumsla and the CLOUT Missioner of all Influencer Wrestling. As a swashbuckling pirate, I know a thing or two about hats. And sometimes, even I feel the hats I own are just too big. So when I feel the need for minuscule millinery, there's only one place that comes to mind. TinyHatLabs.com. Tiny Hat Labs have always sought to push the boundaries of what's possible in client engagement millinery feedback solutions. Their guiding question remains the same today as it was when they were founded. What if small hat, but tiny? Operating at the nexus of science, engineering, artificial intelligence, art, fashion and design, Tiny Hat Labs seeks to pave the way to a paradigm shift in headpiece technology. While others ask, how much? TinyHatLabs.com asks, how little? I'm Captain Tyrion Guidell, and tinyhatlabs.com is my favourite place for hats on the internet. Welcome back to the Clash for Charity arena as we begin our fatal four-way match.
The following is a fatal four-way Falls Count Anywhere match. Make your way to the ring from Colorado, Holiday.
And the Holiday, unable to get that victory over the team of Aria and Stephen earlier, this is her chance for payback. Aria Nightvalley also in this match. Of course, Candy and Aria having both been in action once, Glyx coming off the back of 2 matches, only Mackayla is fresh in this. How is that going to play into the outcome of this match? You have to imagine that gives Mac a significant advantage in this contest. But one cannot overestimate the power of momentum, and Glyx still with the Sold CLOUT Championship around her waist, successfully fending off Mary's attempt. How is that going to play in? She's got those 2 matches stacking up tonight, but her mentality coming into this has to be much stronger than if that match had gone the other way. And returning once again to the ring,
And from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Lady Winter.
coming off that victory, but it was an extraordinarily hard-fought one. It took a great amount of effort for the purple tandem of Aria and Stephen to put away Candy and Reynolds. Candy has already done an absolute number on Aria tonight. She's got to be feeling the effects of that match still. Speaking of feeling effects of matches, let me remind you that Stephenjoys still has 1 match left on the cards tonight. A tag match, perhaps, but he's teaming up with Vattlestar Valactica, who also has been in action tonight already. Nowhere near as beat up as Stephen has been, but their opponents will be fresh. The team of Avric and Asha will be in action against them later on.
From Canada,
And here she is, still out for some form of win. Mac has been experiencing quite the downfall. She lost that Sold Clout Championship to Glyx and then got knocked out in the first round of the $1 Shillion Championship against the debuting Banshee. The only opponent to come into this match fresh, this is the opportunity that Mac needs to turn her fortunes around. Aria, you can see on the outside of the ring there, dying to get into it, just stalking, ready to fight with Candy. She's not done with her, apparently. Remember, 4-way, falls count anywhere. Pinfall or submission only. One person can win. There will be temporary alliances formed during the match, I am sure, but only one woman will end this match, with their head held high. The multicolored rainbow matchup of Candy and Glyx going at it in the middle of the ring. Mac taking opportunity to come in and dive through. Glyx rolling out of the ring to recover, probably a smart move, but Candy says no, vaulting over the top rope, flying elbow down into Glyx. And a big boot from Mac to the face of Aria, but that behavior is what is going to take Mac's momentum out of this match. She got to stop showboating. Glyx has the chokehold locked in, Mac there to come in to try and break it up, but Candy able to get it into a stunner. That's the thing Mac has to watch for in this match, as beat up as her opponents have already been throughout the night. A submission maneuver could potentially end this match very quickly. And there's Mac seeing Aria charge through and wanting absolutely none of it. Runs straight into a flying boot from Glyx, and the Rainbow Duo up. No actual partnership there, though. Glyx lifting Mac up and down onto the side of the decking. Aria and Mac locking up while Glyx and Candy do the same. Mac sending Aria into the ring, getting her out of the way, baiting either Candy or the ref. I'm not sure who Mac was trying to pick a fight with there. It could just as easily have been either one, knowing her. Glyx sends Mac off to the side. Neck breaker attempt from Aria, but Candy immediately there to break that up. The strategy with a match like this has to be to isolate one opponent from the other two and use that to get your pinfall whilst the others are distracted. Kind of what Candy is doing right here. Aria, though, able to see exactly what was going on and got through to break that up. They need to get this group of 4 out of the way. Of course, the risk is if you split into 2 and 2, your opponents could just as easily end the match quickly whilst you're focused on yours. Glyx flying elbow off the top, driving to Mac. Candy just haunting Aria Nightvalley on the outside. And Mac ducking that, getting Glyx tied up in the turnbuckle. Mac is used to that flying attack of Glyx. It was what caused her to lose the Soul Clout Championship. Now scouting it, ducking out the way, but failed that stomp attempt. Glyx now back, but Candy is now got that deep pin in, but the ref, too busy in the ring, did not make it in time. Mac vaulting Glyx over into the side of the ring. Candy seeing an opportunity to come through. Just wrenching the head of Mac and a big uppercut to the back of Mac's head. And swings through, drops Glyx's face onto the knee. Mac with a running knee of her own. Sees the opportunity, but Aria coming right from behind. Mac sends Aria back into the ring. Waiting to see who gets the better of this exchange between Glyx and Candy. Candy with that big swing punch, and there's Mac, the opportunity she was waiting for, vaults Glyx over into the side. Aria taunting Candy, but Mac going for the pin. Aria realizes what's going on. This time Candy sending Mac back into the ring as Aria continues to just yell and berate her opponents. Candy managed to catch that attempt to bounce her off of the side of the ring and bounce that back, and what she got in mind for Glyx here, whatever it was, Glyx had it scouted. Mac's turn to try and lock up, but sends Glyx directly into Candy, screwing up that attempt. Aria now down and potentially out. Oh, what does Mac have in mind? Oh, damn near broke the arm of Glyx there with that wrenching snap, and up and slams down, not even bothering to go for the pinfall. Sensible given that Aria was right there. And elbow strike to break that grapple attempt by Candy. Mac just, this is what we've seen from Mac in the past, waiting as far as possible on the other side and telling people to come for a fight where they can't get to her. Yep, that's the Mac I know. Dives in, breaks up the pinfall attempt from Aria. Oh, and we have Mac and Glyx teaming up now to try and take down Lady Nightvalley. And there we have Candy with that chokehold in again. Trying to knock Glyx out. Mac, noticing that the match was in serious jeopardy, punched to the back of the head of Candy to break that submission attempt. Aria wrenching back the leg of Mackayla Lane. Doing damage to the legs is probably going to be the smart move for Lady Nightvalley. She's got that tangled leg submission expertise. She's got those figure fours. She's got the sharpshooter. If she can get an opponent to attack quickly, that's going to be the way to end this match without the opportunity to break up a pinfall. Candy just waiting for Glyx to get done with Mackayla. Glyx up, and we can't see what's going on because the ref's in the way. I'm pretty sure that was a go to sleep by Glyx. Mac stunned. Candy, though, knowing not even any point going for a pinfall attempt with the other two right there. Stunning blow to the back of the head, and we got her up. And it's the Clipper. The Clipper from Candy. Noticing, though, meanwhile, that Aria was going for a pinfall of her own, breaks that up. Big spinning roundhouse kick. Goes for a pinfall. Aria not going to let that happen. Just a punch to the gut from Candy Holiday to Aria Nightvalley there. Glyx kicks up. Bounces Candy over near Mac. Mac, meanwhile, up and plants Glyx face first down, but Aria puts the boot in to break the pinfall up with that. Pinfall attempt up, excuse me. The action in this match is tormenting my ability to speak. Sends Aria into the ring. Mac immediately there to send Candy back in as well, seemingly trying to split things up. Haunting Glyx for a bit. Does give Mac an opportunity to try and score a pinfall on Glyx, but gives the same opportunity to the other two opponents still in the ring. Look at the height that Candy just got on Aria. That is some impressive power from this biker. What does she have in mind? And there it is once again. Boom. And the refs noticed. The refs going for the pin. 1, 2. Glyx can't make it. Glyx barely made it in time. That was almost Candy Holiday having this match won. Glyx barely made it. Oh, that dismissive backhanded slap from Aria. Going for the pinhole herself, but with... Wait, Mac coming in. Mackayla Lane just cost the match. Aria Nightvalley scoring a pinfall over Glyx. Candy attempting to break up the pinfall, but Mac more interested in a fight than a victory. Candy tried to put the boot in, but Mac ruined that attempt at breaking that pinfall. Aria now scoring a pinfall over our reigning Soul Clout champion, and Mac costing Candy saving the match. That is going to lead to some interesting fallouts later on down the line for sure. Candy is not going to be happy about that. Of course, her focus still needs to remain on the $1 Shillion tournament, where she will be facing Lucette Foster next week, but that is another victory on this card for Aria Nightvalley. Positioning herself perhaps for a title shot against the eventual winner of the $1 Shillion title, or with that pinfall over Glyx, has Aria now positioned herself as a prominent #1 contender for Glyx's Soul Clout Championship. Wait, what? They're doing what? We have to swing back over to the War Games arena. Please hold. We will be right back. Back over at the War Games arena, a fight has broken out backstage between Cinneas and Renaise Crimson. From what I have been told by crew member First Mate Croy, who has been seeing things over on that side of the show, Cinneas furious with Renaise over choosing Stephenjoys to be a part of that match, knowing how many matches Stephen had on this card. The two have come to blows. Cinneas not in any way happy about the damage that has been done to Stephenjoys, seemingly blaming Renaise for pulling the two of them into his rivalry with the Golden Ticket. Renaise dropping Cinneas onto that concrete floor of the backstage arena. Cinneas countering and manages to return the favor to Renaise. Stephen, of course, himself nowhere near being able to be a part of this. You have to imagine, were Stephenjoys present, he would be trying to stop these two fighting, but Stephen has had to be rushed back over to the Clash for Charity arena in preparation of his match teaming up with Vattlestar, so he is nowhere near while these two, now potentially former teammates of his, are coming to blows. You have to imagine too, despite losing the match, Golden Ticket must be watching this happen with a giant grin on his face. He may have failed to put away his rival, but has he destroyed Renaise's friendships in doing so? Just planting that giant shovel into the face. Cinneas says no, steals it back, counters into the ribs of Renaise. He's had enough. And plants Renaise back through. Thankfully, whoever's car that is preventing us from being able to see exactly what is being done to Renaise back there. Big chops to the chest of Crimson by Cinneas. Countered by Renaise. Just striking blows from these two. This is pure emotion. This is a fight between these two. Cinneas fighting back. Of course, these two already significantly damaged after the War Games match themselves. Renaise now trying to send Cinneas to sleep. Just put him out and end this assault. Cinneas able to find out he is furious. Cinneas driven by anger and spite at this point. And there is that snow shovel again. And again, thankfully for viewers at home, that car preventing us seeing those impacts on Renaise. Plants the shoulders of Cinneas right down into that unforgiving concrete. You think the side of the arena with that wooden ship's decking is bad? That is solid concrete. Renaise powering out of that attempt to shut his leg offense down by Cinneas. And drops Cinneas onto the shovel, followed by a backsplash also on, and another. That shovel being driven into the back of Chris Cinneas multiple times. And up and... oh no, is he going to do it? Not again. Renaise, this is too far. Pile drive, that is too far. That is too far. And he still is not done. We need to get... somebody needs to get back in there and break these two apart. He still is not... and that shovel into the guts of Cinneas. Somehow he is fighting back, able to get through, locks in that crossface into Renaise. Please, Ren, just stop. Put an end to this, my God. Croy, what are you doing over there? Get Lion in. Get him to break these two apart. Oh crap, right, you're right. He's over at this arena. Damn it. The only person we have over on that side who would have had the sheer presence and physical strength to break these two apart possibly would have been Brock, but he is already en route to back to the Clash for Charity arena for his title match in our main event. There is nobody there who can take these two apart from each other. Cinneas now hauling Renaise over. The destruction of friendship here. This is uncalled for. This is definitely the ultimate victory for the golden ticket. He lost the War Games, but Cinneas putting Renaise down and falling to his knees. I think maybe realizing there at the end just what Cinneas has done. We are going to move swiftly away from that. We are going to take a quick break whilst we process what has just happened. And we'll be right back over at the Clash for Charity arena, where the source, to a certain extent, of that friendship fallout, that confrontation again, started with Cinneas furious at Crimson over the utilization of Stephenjoys in the War Game match. Stephen is live in action next for his final match on the card tonight, teaming up with his friend and ally, Vattlestar Valactica, to take on the fresh team of Avric and Ashapal. We'll be right back.
Luz tried everything to open the door, but it wouldn't budge. Hammers, axes, magic, saws, more magic, fire, even more magic, and magic explosions. Still, the door refused her. Why? After all this time and effort, why wouldn't the damn thing open? Sure, it was an enchanted door that would open the path to a potentially catastrophic amount of magic pouring back into the universe, causing endless natural disasters that would drown or bury most cities from existence. But there was an equally high chance that wouldn't happen, and that the magic had been sealed away by ignorant fools for nothing. She had to believe there was a reason why she could tap into a sliver of the magic locked behind the door. That this was it, her singular life purpose. Open the door, restore its magic back to everyone like it used to be in the stories, where anyone could use magic, for good or bad. That had to be it, right? That had to be why she was standing here, in the door's pocket dimension, on a small plot of earth, large enough for only one person to stand in front of it, swearing at this void black door with iridescent veins flowing along its surface like water, living, taunting her to just open it already. So why was it so hard to swing the damn thing wide? Somehow, she had shoved the door apart just a crack ages ago. A thin, wispy line of light seeped out of a seam down the centre. Whenever she used teleportation magic, as she had decided to call it since she didn't know the correct term and hadn't seen others use it before, probably because it was dangerous and required sliding through space and time, but who was counting? She tapped into a sliver of warmth and power to travel wherever she wished. She'd managed that slight opening unthinking as a child, then never again. What was she doing wrong now? Worse, what if she wasn't doing anything wrong? What if this door wasn't meant to open for her after all? What else could there be for her but this? After everything, after all that searching, what else could there be?
This has been an extract from The Void Door by V.M. Ayala. To read the full story, please visit beneath-ceaseless-skies.com and search for issue 378. And thank you for watching Masterpiece Theatre. Right, we are back with our penultimate match of the night. Stephenjoys making his way back to the ring for the fourth time tonight.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, from Edinburgh, Scotland, weighing in at 158 pounds, Stephenjoys.
I would like at this point to assure you all who may be either in the crowd or listening along at home, don't worry, we are paying Stephen for 4 matches. He's definitely getting the overtime pay booked in, and we will of course be taking care of his medical care after all of this is done. Are we ready for this? I don't know. But making our way back to the ring for the second time tonight.
And his partner, representing Chaos, from Valactica, the Tank.
Here she is, fresh off her tag match earlier. Unsuccessful in unseating the druidic duo. Will Val have better luck teaming with Stephen? Of course, the danger is that not only are they against a fresh team tonight, Avric and Asha, childhood friends, know each other extremely well. And here they come. Once again, a purple team. Val and Stephen channeling the power of purple. Here they are. We do appear to have had some sort of an audio issue with their music not working quite right, but that's... when putting an event on like this, audio issues I suppose aren't to be expected, especially when we're trying to run it across two separate arenas. But that is only going to fire up especially Avric. He is absolutely going to see that as disrespect. We'll have to deal with that later on. They are ready and waiting. They are here for a fight. Avric, of course, yet to take part in singles competition here in All Influencer Wrestling. Ashapal did not advance in the $1 million championship, so they are definitely fighting for a shift in their own fortunes, here. Stephen, though, continuing to fight through. Already feeling the effects of previous matches, though. He needs to put away either put away Avric quickly or needs to let Val do most of the lifting in this match. However, knowing Stephenjoys, he refuses to be carried. He will not allow his friends to do the work for him. He will insist upon carrying his own share of this load, no matter what that means for him. Avric, though, meanwhile, perhaps out of a sense of honor, or perhaps just because he wants to let Ashapal get at Val, tags in, and Val immediately, with that big spinning roundhouse kick to Asha, powers out through, though, only at one. Val taking a moment to showboat, and Asha making her suffer for it. Powering out that submission attempt by Ashapal. And again, spinning roundhouse, knocking that charge of Asha out of the floor. Asha sends Val off, and spinning scoop slam, using Val's own momentum off of that rope against her. Boots to the gut, and up here we go, the power of Ashapal. Another scoop slam, sending Val's back straight into the canvas. Waiting, watching, what does Asha have in mind? Whatever it is, it didn't work out. Val taking her back over to her team's corner. Bouncing Asha's head off of the turnbuckle. Boots Asha straight into that ankle, wrenching it against the torque of the ropes. Bouncing off and running knee to Asha's face. Val really fired up in this match. Definitely out to avenge the loss from earlier on. Shoulder checks Asha. And a return running clothesline from Vattlestar. Just waiting for Asha to pull herself back up. What does Val have in mind here? Using the ropes for additional leverage to wrench the arm of Ashapal. Tried to put the boot in, Asha caught it and is able to straight out power through. Sends Val face first down. She says it's Avric's turn. Runs straight into a head scissors takedown by Stephenjoys. This pint-sized paladin definitely out to make a name for his team here, but can't even get a look in against Stephenjoys, who decides sensibly to allow Val to get back in. Gave Val a bit of a moment, a bit of a breather to recover. Stephen perhaps feeling the punishment he'd been racking up all night long. But Asha with a spinning back elbow knocks Val's momentum straight out. Clubbing knee strike. And a return spinning back elbow from Val. But there she goes again, playing to the crowd and just baiting a missile drop kick from Asha, followed up by a second. Kick to the gut, strike to the face, and just pulls Val over to the other side of the ring. Running knee assisted by the momentum from the ropes there. Going for the pin. Avric starting to make his way in, but only a one regardless. The tenacity of Ashapal showing through. Tag made, Stephenjoys and Avric are legal. Both trying to go for a dive, both misjudged that, both sent themselves to the mat. Avric now just using his sheer power, tying Stephen up in the ropes. And he's seen it happen there once again, that left arm of Stephenjoys. We know how much damage that's taken throughout the course of this event. And he picks up Stephen. Stephen, though, able to strike with those elbows to knock himself back out of Avric's grasp. Sends Stephen over off the ropes, accidentally sending Ashapal off at the same time, but she's able to bounce back up. Avric getting fired up. Stephen able to go in there with a grapple. DDT drives Avric down onto the canvas and stomps the fingers of Avric. Clubbing blows down into the face of this Paladin of Serenray. And there's the head scissors takedown once again. Asha there, able to get the save for her team. Avric able to get out of the way of that, deciding to go for a tag himself. He's like, Asha, you come in, you take care of this. Continual back and forth tagging is a strength of Avric and Asha. These two knowing each other so well, both of them being known as Sentinels, one paladin, one fighter. Command of the battlefield translates relatively well for these two into the command of the squared circle, but Val, the tank main mentality, which really this is a battle of the tanks. And also Stephenjoys is there. But let's be honest, at this point, Stephen, throughout the night, has really made a case for him being considered a tank as well. The amount of damage that man has soaked up and has kept on going. His compatriots in team #TankMain, Vattlestar and Cinneas, have to be proud of the effort he's put in. Avric having to fly solo at this point. Asha taking a beating on the outside. It's all on Avric to carry this team while Asha gets recovered. Avric rolling out to the side of the ring. Not sure what he has in mind. Squaring up with Vattlestar. Both of those two would have no qualms fighting each other, but big spinning roundhouse there from Avric. Tries to grapple with Stephen, but the lack of depth perception that Avric has seeming, and there we go, the powerhouse of this paladin. Strength is Avric's strong suit. Depth perception, not so much. Hence why that grapple attack did whiff, but that he doesn't need, and there he is just flexing on the outside. And he's up and plants him straight down in their corner. Like I said, there's that command of the ring I mentioned. But Stephenjoys, 4th match in, still able to power out at 1. The tenacity, the dedication, the resilience of Stephenjoys is legendary at this point. Bound, but how much can he go for? Val beating Ashapal, who attempted to jump in to break that attempt, but make Val's attempt to break it, spinning. What did Stephen pull out of nowhere? Avric, though, second wind, able to pull through, rolling out of the ring to recover for a little bit. That maneuver, we've never seen Stephen do that before. And he dives out, knocking Avric down, but again, damage inflicted to Stephen in that maneuver as well. Lack of self-preservation shown at this point by Stephenjoys. But this is that mentality we've seen. If it were a one-on-one, it may be a different story, but in a tag team match, he knows he's not just fighting for himself, he's fighting for Val, he's fighting for his friend. And that is a situation in which Stephen will do anything it takes, regardless at the cost of himself. Which, of course, we saw just moments ago. Cinneas knows this, and this is why he unleashed that frustration at Renaise for pulling Stephen into that War Games match. Stephen, thankfully, tagging in Val. Vattlestar and Asha now going at it in the middle. Asha sending Val into that turnbuckle, just sizing her up. Grabs Val by the neck and just bounces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just basketball bouncing Val's head off of that apron, but still she kicks out at 1. Hoists Val up to the shoulders and power slam down to the mat. Kick to the gut. Oh, and here we go. Pedigree onto Vattlestar, but very close to Stephenjoys in the corner there. Can Avric get in the way? Stephen did not make it in time, but Vattlestar tank maining her way out of that pinfall attempt, only a 2. But sensible ring awareness, sensible strategy by Asha, tagging Avric in. Val having to recover on the outside. Can Avric capitalize? Or will Avric get hit by the hat slam? Hat slam again from Stephen. We've seen it used to such great effect tonight multiple times, but Asha up, able to prevent that, scoring another victory. And Stephen, look at the way Stephen is walking at this point. He is barely on his feet. He was practically hobbling over to the corner to tag in Vattlestar. Boot driving Val down to the canvas, and driving once again those shoulders, the sheer torque. shoulder checks Val down to the canvas. Usher in full control of the ring at this point, just booting Val in the ribs. Pulls her back up, but Vattlestar able to power through. Wild swing and a miss. That time connects right with the face. Val's up. And money hole! Val has Usher down, but Avric right there in the corner. Can he make it in time? It doesn't need to. Usher powers out of the money hole. Vattlestar has to be wondering what she has to do to keep Usher down at this point. Spinning dive onto the ribs of Ashapal. Val driving Usher back into her own corner. Stunning blow off the turnbuckle, followed by another. And going for Usher's arm, tying it up in the ropes for that additional pressure. Shoulder check into the turnbuckle. Clubbing blow to the back of the spine and tagging back in Stephen. Usher just lying stunned. If Stephen can get Usher down, this is a decent strategery by Vattlestar. Has enough damage been done to Avric to keep him down though? Not as of yet. Kicks out at 2. The frustration, the exhaustion showing on the face of Stephenjoys. What does he have to do to keep Avric down? The hat slam is his answer to that question. Yet again, Usher stunned. Avric's down. Avric's not down. Powering through the power of Seren Ray, coursing through him, Avric survives a second hat slam. Stephen just booting into that missing eye of Avric. Catches. Boots through. Ashapal has recovered. Vault and scoop slam from Avric onto Stephen. Avric trying to figure out what to do, I think, at this point. He knows he might be able to get Stephen down, but Vattlestar is waiting there and sensibly tags Usher in. They need to be able to solve the problem in this match that has been Vattlestar Valactica for this team. And this is what I was talking about. That ring awareness, that sentinel battlefield mentality, isolating Val in their corner. They got the tag. Stephen's back in. And Stephen, though, with that spinning DDT, sends Avric down. What does he have in mind? Oh, Avric got the knees up right into the gut of Stephen. Tried to go for the drop kick to the face, but again, that depth perception of Avric is a problem for him in this type of situation. He's only got the one eye. And, oh, we have another slam attempt by Vattlestar. But Avric right there, waiting, ready to play spoiler. Val just asking at this point, what does she have to do? Avric and Usher have survived everything that this team have thrown at them. Of course, Avric and Usher themselves asking the exact same question. None of these four willing to give an inch. Driving into the guts. Stephen subdued now in the corner. Avric pulling him and hauling him down to the mat. And just there we go. The brutal offense. This is what Avric often comes back down to. Just when it comes down to it, brutal assault. And up and over, down goes Stephenjoys. the light gone out in Stephen's eyes as Avric goes up to the top. And that giant flying knee from the top directly onto the face of Stephen. Avric has something in mind. And up he holds him in place, and Stephen reverses chop block to the leg of Avric. Stephen able to escape that, but Avric able to avoid that dropkick attempt. He has had enough. Hauling Stephen back over to his corner. Has to have maybe the tag in mind. No. Running and bull charging Stephen back into the other corner. Hauls him back up and charge back in his own. Right there with Usher. Stephen avoids that kick attempt. Head scissors takedown. Stephen in a unenviable position. Manages to drive Avric down into the mat with that DDT. An excellent strategy by Stephen. It is definitely time to get Val back involved in this match as Avric is recovering. Clothesline from Vattlestar, sending Ashapal down to the mat. She's waiting. Drop elbow directly into the sternum of Ashapal. Val DDT of her own. Taking that moment, there's that streamer mentality of playing to the crowd. Val sending Stephen back in. Questionable choice from Val here. As Avric, there's that team offense though, using Usher as his own ramp to get that little extra momentum to shoulder check Stephen down. And he's up. Avric going back to the well for this again. Holds him up. Stephen not able to reverse this time. And squish. Vattlestar, though, still up. Able to play spoiler. Ashapal not present. Stephen with the roll-up. Stephen got the roll-up in. 1, 2. With a roll-up pin. Stephenjoys pins Avric for the win for his team.
Here are your winners.
Taking advantage of that moment distraction when Avric took his eyes off of him, pulling through for a surprise roll-up. That had to have been all Stephen had left. But thankfully for him, Stephen is finally through with Clash for Charity, waiting for a well-deserved cup of tea for him backstage. Many bits of ice, although he will be going backstage to the news of the fallout between Cinneas and Renaise over at the War Games Arena. We'll be attempting to avoid him finding out about that for as long as we possibly can. He needs to focus on his own recovery for a little bit. But we are not done yet with Clash for Charity. We have one match left. It is our co-main event. It is the final match on this half of the card. Abel Therron has requested his own title defense. He has heard everyone talking about the tall, small dynamic that has shown prevalence within all influencer wrestling. He knows he is on the small side of the roster, and he has asked to go out and prove himself. Our main event, the Sold CLOUT Championship. Abel Therron versus Brock in a steel cage. We'll be right back for that after these messages.
Luz tried everything to open the door, but it wouldn't budge. Hammers, axes, magic, saws, more magic, fire, even more magic, and magic explosions. Still, the door refused her. Why? After all this time and effort, why wouldn't the damn thing open? Sure, it was an enchanted door that would open the path to a potentially catastrophic amount of magic pouring back into the universe, causing endless natural disasters that would drown or bury most cities from existence. But there was an equally high chance that wouldn't happen, and that the magic had been sealed away by ignorant fools for nothing. She had to believe there was a reason why she could tap into a sliver of the magic locked behind the door. That this was it, her singular life purpose. Open the door, restore its magic back to everyone like it used to be in the stories, where anyone could use magic, for good or bad. That had to be it, right? That had to be why she was standing here, in the door's pocket dimension, on a small plot of earth, large enough for only one person to stand in front of it, swearing at this void black door with iridescent veins flowing along its surface like water, living, taunting her to just open it already. So why was it so hard to swing the damn thing wide? Somehow, she had shoved the door apart just a crack ages ago. A thin, wispy line of light seeped out of a seam down the centre. Whenever she used teleportation magic, as she had decided to call it since she didn't know the correct term and hadn't seen others use it before, probably because it was dangerous and required sliding through space and time, but who was counting? She tapped into a sliver of warmth and power to travel wherever she wished. She'd managed that slight opening unthinking as a child, then never again. What was she doing wrong now? Worse, what if she wasn't doing anything wrong? What if this door wasn't meant to open for her after all? What else could there be for her but this? After everything, after all that searching, what else could there be?
This has been an extract from The Void Door by V.M. Ayala. To read the full story, please visit beneath-ceaseless-skies.com and search for issue 378. And thank you for watching Masterpiece Theatre. And welcome back for our main event.
The following contest is a steel cage match and is for the Action Championship.
I hate being open, I hate being broken. I feel like an ocean filled up with emotion, anger in a potion, rub it on the lotion. I can feel it soaking me open, scars have awoken. I can't move on till I let go.
Here he is. He's made his way back over from the other arena after taking part in that War Games match. Brock, the Gardener. And here he is, our sole CLOUT champion, the man who requested this bout. The Dreamer, Abel Therron. He won that belt in the Sold CLOUT Battle Royal. He has seen off Steve Sparks thus far to defend it. Has called out Brock. You have to wonder, what is Abel's mentality here. Certainly a part of it is wanting to prove himself, wanting to demonstrate that his size is not a hindrance, that he can take down one of the largest competitors in all influencer wrestling. But putting him inside this steel cage, giving Brock this opportunity, is there perhaps a certain element of trying to help Brock? Trying to prove to Brock that he can stand on his own 2 feet, that he wants to maybe help him escape the manipulations of people like Sparks and the Golden Ticket.
The Gardener. And his opponent from Avalon, weighing in at 150 pounds, he is the Action Champion, The Dream.
Of course, as much time as he has spent in the Fey realm, Brock is well used to Dreamers. But I don't think he's ever quite encountered somebody like Abel Therron. And there it is, the Sold CLOUT Championship, what all of these competitors are here for, in pursuit of the most valuable commodity in our modern world, CLOUT. And there they go, and you can see as they square up, that size difference, not even just height. Brock built like a mountain. And wanting maybe to be immediately done, trying to escape out, perhaps. Abel trying to get a foothold himself. Brock still in this match. Brock, an individual who is not necessarily willing to fight for himself, but if he's been given a task, he will see it through to the best of his ability. He does tend to feel like he has disappointed somebody if he doesn't give it his all. So knowing that Abel has called him out for this, he's certainly going to do everything he can in this match to win. Not willing to just lay down for Abel, Brock powers out through there at the 2 count. Of course, this being a steel cage match, there are 2 ways to win. You can either, well, 3 I suppose technically, you can either beat your opponent via pinfall or submission, or escaping the steel cage, either by climbing over the top or by incapacitating your opponent long enough to make it out of the door in the steel cage, which is right in front of us right now. You can see that referee waiting there on the outside. If one of the opponents calls for them to open the door, they will do so. But you need to have your opponent down long enough to make sure that they're not going to either slip out ahead of you or ruin your attempt. Brock up and bouncing Abel off the ropes, driving his arm down into the canvas and wrenching the neck. This is the strategy that Brock shows. There's nothing technical, there's nothing fancy about the way this man wrestles. He is a powerhouse. He is just straight up assault. Abel, though, sees him going for the climb and trying to knock Brock down off there. Brock just driving a boot into Abel's face, stunning him to try and get himself back up to the top. Abel just a blow to the butt of Brock and enough to send him crashing down. That being a situation where Brock's size and weight are going to work against him. The sheer volume of mass that falls off the top of that cage is going to have a greater impact than if it were Abel doing the same. He is pure, dense muscle, is Brock. And of course, whilst we have somewhat allowed a limited amount of innate magical ability to be used by the competitors that possess it, Brock is not allowed to shift into his badger form in an AIW ring. He has to remain in his human form. Abel stunning him and able to make his way up to the top. He's gone to the top. Brock hauling himself up. Abel already on the outside. Brock coming after him. Down to the wire. Abel by the skin of his teeth. Brock clubbing, knocking Abel, breaking that attempt down. He's got the grip on that leg. Abel had the victory within his grasp. Brock able to just power him back inside the ring. Abel bouncing Brock's face off that unforgiving steel structure. And again, pulling out anything he can. Brock returning the favor. And Abel not able to take as much of that punishment as Brock was, knocked down, but quickly back to his feet. And my God, the sheer strength it took for Abel to do that. That is an impressive feat by our champion. Up and slam drives Brock down. Brock is down. Brock is stunned. Brock is not down for 3. Abel, very smart move by the champion here. Takes advantage. He wasn't able to score the pinfall, so he's going to try to go and climb back out of the cage instead. Brock still not recovered. It took a lot of energy just to get that kick out done. Abel already halfway down off the top. Can Brock get his hands on him? I think he might just make it. Yes, clubbing blow to the head. Once again, Abel so close to being able to escape the cage, but Brock, similar to Avric and Asha, has that sentinel-like skill set. Trying to get up over the top himself now. Brock trying to go down. Abel call up. They are both now just straddling the top of this cage, both in precarious positions. This is a very dangerous position for both of these men. If either happens to knock the other off the wrong side, their opponent will still win. It doesn't matter if Abel or Brock knock each other off as long as they don't go into the ring, but that may well have done it for Abel. That may well have done it. Brock sent crashing down to the middle of the ring. Abel already down on the other side. All he has to do is drop. Brock staring on the other side. He's on the wrong side of the mesh. There is nothing Brock can do at this point. That is it. Abel has it. Abel Therron has retained the Sold Clout Championship.
Here's your winner, and still Action Champion, the Dream.
The dream is a reality. Abel Therron continues his reign as the undisputed Sold Clout Championship. That was a noise there of Candy Holiday taking off from the arena on that bike of hers. What a title defense by Abel. But after the performance he has shown in this event, Stephenjoys has to be next in line for a shot for that title. But plenty of other fallout from this event. Renaise's team putting away Team Golden Ticket, but at the seeming cost of the friendship between Renaise Crimson and Chris Cinneas. Glyx retaining the Sold Clout Championship. But Aria Nightvalley putting in a number of dominant performances, positioning her perhaps as a challenger for Glyx's title. What a series of matches. What a night. What an event. Thank you to all of you who donated to allow this premium live event to happen. Thank you for your support of St. Jude. We will be back on Thursday as usual with another episode of All Influencer Wrestling Broadside, where there is sure to be fallout from this phenomenal series of matches tonight. I have been the CLOUT Missioner, Captain Tyriant Guidal, and we'll see you on Thursday. As always, remember to stay #out for CLOUT. We'll see you there. Good night.